Progressive Congress rally in Rivers State in Nigeria on Thursday, the 19th of January, was disrupted. Former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has said that only unpatriotic and bad Nigerians will not support the right candidate. Good afternoon, our dear viewers. Welcome to the 1 p.m. news edition, coming to you live and direct from Golfe TV Africa here in the city of Cotonou with Hazel OGOIGBE. Now to the news in detail, starting from the local scene. Now, road infrastructure in Calavi is in a dilapidated state, and this is sadly courtesy bad maintenance by the populace. Calavi is a peaceful town, but sadly the infrastructures are not in a well-functioning manner. More information in the following report. The road leading to Calavi is in a dilapidated state. The deteriorating state of the road is caused by human beings. The destruction of road infrastructure diminishes the accessibility of the road networks in Calavi. Calavi is known as the restive town, and sadly, it is on its way to destruction. The infrastructures along the roadside are in a terrible state, and the situation of things is such that taxpayers' money was actually used to repair the roads, but it seems that this is of no importance to road users who are subjecting the roads to massive destruction. The actions of some careless drivers contributes to the degradation of the most populated commune of the Atlantic Department. Calavi is the most populated commune of the Atlantic Department in terms of population density. The irony of it all is that these acts sometimes go unpunished, even when the acts are detrimental to the development of the commune. The situation on ground is quite appalling. Starting with Godome, a district of the commune of Abome Calavi, the street lights are only found in some places. Once the street lights are turned on, some places are illuminated, but the destruction meted out on the infrastructure affects the energy system in such a way that some parts of town is left in total darkness. According to our investigation, the perpetrators of these despicable acts are paying for the damaged equipment. This would allow the project to resume, but till date, there is no sign of the resumption of the installation of the street lights and other infrastructures built with taxpayers' money. The Director General of Infrastructure and Transport, Jack Ayaji, and the General Directorate of the Republican Police were asked to explain to the populace the situation on ground. Still on the local scene, the marketing of charcoal remains a flourishing activity in several cities of Benin Republic. Unfortunately, according to the actors in this sector, there are lots of difficulties and challenges they encounter on a day-to-day activities. More information in the following report. The sale of charcoal is an increasingly exhausting activity for those involved in it. In Cotonou, a key economic center, revenues are dwindling according to the sector's actors, who are imploring the authorities at the highest level to be flexible. The marketing of charcoal remains a flourishing activity in several cities of Benin Republic. Unfortunately, according to the actors of the sector, the difficulties encountered are enormous. For these charcoal dealers, it is rather painful, and the situation is quite sad because they've not been able to find solutions to the problems. There are lots of challenges faced in this line of business, some of which include forestry harassment and other difficulties, which is limiting their productivity. In this line of business, we, the charcoal dealers, bear the transport and incidental costs. This makes the selling price expensive. We are suffering a great deal, and we have a lot of incurred debt. We have no other job. We only do this to make ends meet. We need help. Coal work is a dirty work, and many people think we are miserable. Sales has been reduced, and the customers do not come as they used to come before. Faced with these difficulties, they call on the state to make it easier to revive the dying charcoal sector. Before, a bag of charcoal goes for 900 francs or even 1,300 francs. Today, that is not the situation on ground. A bag of charcoal goes for 7,000 francs. We are facing several difficulties. Like the coal sector, Other economic entities in the country are experiencing difficulties which the government must consider in order to change the situation on ground. Away from that, crossing over to the news in brief. Now, at least 45 passengers are missing after a motorized boat overloaded with passengers and animals sank overnight in a river in the northwestern Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, this was stated by the authorities, and about 55 people survived the disaster. The authorities said, sadly, the boat was heading for neighboring Republic of Congo when it capsized on the Lulanga River on Tuesday night near the town of Basusu. Now, Jean-Pierre Wangala, the president of the civil society groups in the region, told reporters that at least 145 people were missing. Now, he blamed the sinking on an overload, but said residents had other options. Nearly 25% of the world's traffic fatalities happen in Africa, according to the World Health Organization. Sadly, according to statistics, nearly 1.3 million people around the world die in traffic accidents every year. Now, the reality is about a quarter of these deaths occur in the African countries. More information in the following report.
The most recent WHO statistics show that road accidents led to almost 300,000 deaths across Africa in 2019. This represented 23% of the almost 1.3 million road traffic accidents deaths globally. In 2019, Africa registered almost a quarter of all road fatalities worldwide, despite having only about 3% of the world's registered vehicles. Researchers from the World Health Organization cite several possible causes of road traffic accidents. These include speeding, driving under the influence of alcohol and other substances, failure to use protective gear such as helmets and seatbelts, poor road infrastructure, inadequate enforcement of traffic laws, and inadequate post-crash care, which could lead to further injuries. Nearly half of those dying on the world's roads are vulnerable road users, namely pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. And even where death doesn't occur, survivors often grapple with the aftermath of road accidents. Every year, between 20 and 50 million people globally suffer non-fatal road traffic injuries, with many incurring a disability as a result of their injury. Such injuries can cause considerable economic losses. These losses arise from the cost of treatment as well as lost productivity for those killed or disabled by their injuries, as well as their family members. The WHO also estimates that road traffic crashes can cost a country at least 3% of its gross domestic product. With this in mind, the United Nations General Assembly has set an ambitious target of reducing by half the global number of deaths and injuries from road traffic crashes by 2030. Bulkisanyabos, GTN. The most recent WHO statistics show that road accidents led to almost 300,000 deaths across Africa in 2019. This represented 23% of the almost 1.3 million road traffic accidents deaths globally.
Away from that, Sudanese protesters tried to march onto Parliament on Thursday, but were intercepted by security forces who fired tear gas and water hoses at the crowd. Now, the protesters are marching against last month's deal between Sudan coup leader and the main pro-democracy group to establish a civilian-led transitional government following the 2021 military takeover. Now, let's cross over to Nigeria, talking about politics. The All Progressive Congress rally in Rivers State, Nigeria, held on Thursday, the 19th of January, was disrupted following the twin explosion, which rocked the Rumuwaji venue in Mile 1 Axis of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Now, ironically, a similar event held by the People's Democratic Party in Edo State in Nigeria ended in disarray after unknown men fired gunshots at the campaign ground. More information in the following commentary. The All Progressive Congress rally in Rivers State was on Thursday disrupted following the twin explosions which rocked the Rumuwaji venue in the Mile 1 Axis of Port Harcourt in Nigeria. A similar event held by the People's Democratic Party in Edo State ended in disarray after unknown men fired gunshots at the campaign ground. The campaign rally was going on peacefully in Ward 7 of the Edo Central Local Government area when the sounds of gunshots fired by suspected political thugs suddenly filled the air, forcing the party faithfuls to scamper in fear. The Punch newspaper gathered that the Rivers State APC governorship candidate Tonya Cole and the other candidates vying for various positions were present at the Rumowoji rally when the blast occurred. Eyewitnesses stated that the explosions were preceded by shootings at 1:20 p.m. Sadly, 3 persons, including 2 women, were injured in the ensuing chaos. Earlier, the gate leading to the venue, popularly known as the Ojuku Field, was locked against the party members and supporters by the youth of the area. The gate was subsequently opened when the party chieftains, including former APC acting national chairman Chief Victor Giadom, and their supporters arrived at the venue. Speaking of the rally, Giadom condemned the incidents which he blamed on suspected political thugs. He urged the party members and supporters to remain resolute despite the threats, saying the bullets fired could not scare the APC from winning the elections in the state. Onto the local scene, a crisis is shaking the Popular Movement Liberation Party in Benin Republic. Now, this is the aftermath of the legislative elections held on the 8th of January 2023. Members of the People's Liberation Movement are demanding the resignation of the president with a litany of accusations against the final legislative elections. Back to Nigeria, back to the political scene. Former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has said that only an unpatriotic and bad Nigerian would vote for a candidate with bad character. Now, he said this in support of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. More information in the following commentary. Former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, has said that only an unpatriotic and bad Nigerian will vote for a candidate with bad character. Obasanjo spoke on Thursday in Abeokuta, the capital of Ogun State, while featuring in an interactive session of the experiential leadership in Africa with the theme Executive Decisions, Indecisions and Leadership Development in Africa. While defending his choice of Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi, the former president of Nigeria said Obi was his preferred candidate for the presidency. The Punch reports that the former president, in his New Year message to Nigerians entitled, "My appeal to all Nigerians, particularly young Nigerians," expressed his support for the Labour Party presidential candidate. While reacting to a statement that he endorsed Obi, Obasanjo insisted that he did not use the word endorse, but he only gave his opinion on the candidates. Obasanjo said, "Whether the letter is open or not, what I believe is that I will be punished by God if I know what is right and I do not put it where it should be. The word I used is that one particular candidate has an edge. Taking everything together, I take the character, track record, vision, and what you see in this man as a child of God." Obasanjo, in his response on whether or not multi-party system has been the bane of development in Nigeria, blamed leadership and not the multi-party system for the underdevelopment of Nigeria. Crossing briefly to Mali. Now, Mali's military rulers received more warplanes and helicopters from Russia on Thursday. Now, this is the latest in a series of delivery from its new top military and political ally, Russia. Now, 8 planes and 2 helicopters were counted at a ceremony attended by the Russian ambassador, Igor Gromyko, and the head of Mali's military government, Colonel Assimi Goita. Now, Mali's military said that the shipment included 2 Koswa-25 attack planes designed to support ground troops and the ZEC-designed Albatros L-39s, while initially designed for training purposes, they've also been used as attack aircraft. Back to the Nigerian scene. The All Progressive Congress and the Social Democratic Party on Thursday knocked the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar. And this was his overvote for the appointment comment in Abeokuta. For information in the following commentary. The All Progressive Congress and the Social Democratic Party on Thursday knocked the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, over his vote for appointment comments in Abeokuta. They stated that during a town hall meeting with stakeholders of the PDP in Ogun State on Wednesday, Atiku said members who wish to get appointments and contracts in his administration must ensure the party wins in their various polling units. The former vice president of Nigeria said the PDP can only win the presidential elections if members work for the party's victory in their various polling units. He quoted to have said, "You are all members of the PDP and supporters of the PDP. You want the PDP to return to power. please, I beg you, make sure you win your polling booths. The fact that you are following the governorship candidate or the senatorial candidate of the House of Representatives candidate or the presidential candidate to campaign is not a qualification that you will get an appointment. Reacting to Atiku's comments, the spokesperson of the Tinubu-Shettima Presidential Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, said Atiku was already promising people contracts in disregarding the public procurement. Similarly, the SDP spokesperson, Rufus Ayenigba, said, I will leave the decision to the electorate to determine what is best for them. All the leading candidates have relatable histories. There is nothing about Atiku and Tinubu that Nigerians do not know. For us to move forward, everything is pointing in the direction of a new lease on life. The imperative of a fresh breath to sanitize the system cannot be overemphasized. Meanwhile, the director of the Transition Monitoring Group, Awale Rafajani, said, there are legal frameworks guiding the appointment and issuance of the contracts in Nigeria. Appointments in the civil service are made based on federal character. For example, every state must have at least one minister, and the same is true of ambassadors. You're still on to Golfe TV Africa, and today I have the privilege of having in the house a special guest in the studio in the person of Chief Raphael Ochiri Onyenigbe. Now, Chief Raphael Ochiri Onyenigbe is the chairman, Edo Delta Benin Republic. Good afternoon, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Good afternoon, Hazel. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Sounds good.
All right, now let's get straight to business. Now, we all know that the political scene in Nigeria right now is really very heated. Now, the forthcoming presidential elections, we have the Labour Party, the PDP, the APC, but there are a lot of young obedience that are really clamoring, pardon me, for Peter Obi. Now, one thing the opposition parties and a lot of people say about the Labour Party is the Labour Party does not have structure. What are your reactions concerning this statement?
Thank you very much, Hazel. Well said. I want to quickly disabuse your wrongful impression that has to do with Peter Obi or Labour Party not having a structure. The said party do have a structure. As you would understand, a journey of 1,000 kilometers begins with a step. Therefore, slow and steady win the race. There's a structural plan already in ground before the thinking of becoming the president comes up. Thank you. So he do have a structural plan.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now let's project into the future. If eventually Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, eventually wins the election, now how will he handle the lawmakers that will be from opposition parties? Because we all know that presently in the legislature, you know, in the government, we have a lot of PDP members and a whole lot of APC members. Now it's like one person surrounded by a lot of wills. How do you think he's going to handle the situation?
Once again, thank you for the beautiful question. Like I said, you know, becoming the president of Nigeria is something of a thing of joy. But going to your question, if eventually becomes the president of Nigeria, owing to the fact that the party is just a baby that they are kind of trying to nurture, I think there are so many opposition that want to decamp to join the ruling party. And I think that way he will be able to rule. But to start with, yes, he will have a lot of opposition, standing the fact that this is Labour Party to compare to the two other political parties. But I believe they will join him, and they will want to join with the winning party to move Nigerians forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of ideologies are coming out, and people are saying that the obedience movement is just a social media movement. Now, do you think, really, realistically, that the Labour Party stands a chance in the forthcoming presidential elections? Considering the fact that, first of all, it's a young party, a baby party, as you rightly said, considering the strong oppositions, considering the big wigs in APC, big wigs in PDP, we don't really have so many big wigs in Labour Party. Now, do you think, really, Peter Obi stands a chance in this forthcoming presidential elections?
Thank you very much. I think this question is a very key question that we have to look into properly. Because when you talk of this voting, the upcoming presidential voting, it has to do with one having the PVC to vote. If you don't have it, you're going to vote. Now, again, what I'm looking at is this. When we talk of this obedient party, you have the youth. But my question is this: will the youth have their PVC to vote? That is where I think we are having a little challenges. But all said that, all that being said, I think when we get to the river, we'll cross that.
Okay, that's really very, very enthusiastic of you. You're looking at things from a positive perspective.
Thank you.
Now, one of the factors that aided the incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, winning the election was that he had some political bigwigs supporting him. Now, apart from the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, that has come out to say he is standing for Peter Obi. Peter Obi doesn't really have any of the bigwigs. Yes, we have young people, we have intellectuals backing him. What role is this going to play? What role can you project that this will play in Peter Obi winning the forthcoming presidential elections?
Yeah, like I said before, for him to win the upcoming presidential election depends on the PVC. And again, your question can really refer to politics of godfatherism. In other words, he stands on his own, and I can tell you that I think people are standing with him secretly. That is what I think.
Okay, now.
Thank you.
The last but not the least question is, and I would like you to elaborate. Now, the APC, they have their candidates in the person of Tinubu. The PDP, they have their candidates in the person of Atiku Abubakar. And the Labour Party, too, has their candidates in the person of Peter Obi. Now, what makes Peter Obi a unique candidate? What does he have that you think, in your opinion, other candidates do not have?
Thank you. I think all the three contestants, they are fit for the post of president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But if I am asked to give my opinion or advice rather, we have PDP for so long and APC and all of that. Let us give a chance to a new political party to see how this party will take Nigeria forward. And if it fails, then people will have at least to say, we've tried this party and it failed. And then secondly, look at the three people contesting for the said post. I think Obi is younger, is vibrant, is politically fit. I think that is what I think. Okay. Thank you.
Let me add this question considering your response. Now, we all know that a lot of people are really clamoring that Peter Obi, when eventually gets into power, he's going to do this and he's going to do that. Do you really think that all the things Peter Obi says, if eventually he becomes the president of Nigeria, do you think he would have the ability, the willpower, the technical know-how to translate it from thoughts into actions?
Thank you very much. I don't think there's anyone on earth that will say, I will do this, and they will do all of them 100%. We are all human beings. Let's be honest. But I'm sure he's going to do maybe 80% of it. And if he's given chance to rule more, then people will see his action, what he can be able to offer to Nigerians. He needs time to be able to do one or two things in Nigeria. And to do that, he has to win the presidency. If he doesn't win, then he doesn't stand the chance of doing anything. So first, let the youth have the PVC and then stand for whoever they want to vote for, the rightful candidate, and then God will do the rest.
There was a statement I read today on social media, one of the Twitter handle, which is a major popular social media for the young people. And Peter Obi is always about investing, always about keeping money. Now, some people are of the opinion that he would save money so much and impoverish the nation. Do you think the fact that he doesn't allow the money go around, the way they will say chop, make everybody chop, let the money circulate, do you think this personality of his will be detrimental to the development of Nigeria, or even make money not to flow, as the case may be?
Well, individually, even before having intention of going into politics, everybody manage his home or our home. And to say, people don't look at him as someone that is not, that doesn't give out. That is the way people tend to look at the said Peter Obi. And he has his own way of ruling. If eventually he becomes the president, disbursement of funds depends on his ability and that of the cabinet working with him. Then secondly, I think, to the best of my knowledge, I think Peter Obi, if he becomes the president, politics in Nigeria will be a place where you want to go and serve your people and not go in there to make money. If Peter Obi eventually becomes the president of Nigeria. So people want to go to politics to serve their people. It's not going to be a politics of looting fund for yourself. That is what I think about him.
Lastly, as the president of the Edo Delta in Benin Republic, what role is Nigerian in diaspora going to play in the forthcoming elections? Not streamlining it to just Peter Obi or streamlining it to Atiku Abubakar or even streamlining it to Tinubu or all the other political parties, but generally, Nigerians in diaspora, what role will they play and what role do they ought to play in elections generally in Nigeria?
Thank you. Of course, when you talk about diaspora, Nigerians in diaspora, we all know that everybody belongs to one political party or the other. But like I said, and I will repeat here and now, for us to play any role, whoever that is going to play or vote and can be voted for, you need your number one, the PVC. If you don't have that, you have no role to play. You can support someone, secretly, but when you want to do it publicly to support the person, you need your PVC to cast your vote. Therefore, I advise everyone in diaspora or Nigeria, whenever they are, to respectfully go to the center close to you and get your PVC and wait for the date, and then cast your vote on whoever your spirit directs you. We need a better Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. You're still tuned into Golfe TV Africa, and that was our special guest in the studio in the person of Chief Raphael Ochiri-Onyenibe. Now, he is the chairman of Edo Delta Benin Republic. Thank you so much. It's a privilege having you in Golfe TV Africa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Nice one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Are we done? Let me see them.
And our dear viewers, that was the special guest that gave his opinion and his perspective on the forthcoming elections in Nigeria. The elections are really close, and the elections, a lot of tension going out. APC drama, PDP drama, Labour Party, the Labour Party movement is going forward. But that is all. We're definitely going to be taking lots of people. We're going to have Labour Party, we're going to have PDP guest speak, and we're also going to be having the APC, so we know that it is free and fair. My name is Hazel OGOIGBE. Thanks for tuning into Golfe TV Africa. Enjoy the rest of your day.